Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Louise Taylor from the Council Engagement Team at the Office of Local Government. I'd like to welcome you all and begin the webinar by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I'm personally joining from the beautiful lands of the Barramadigal people and Darug Nation. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and recognise and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the land and waters of New South Wales. Today, OLG's Fresh Start team will provide important information about round 3 of the Fresh Start Grants program. And just a note, if you'd like to discuss rounds 1 and 2 of the Fresh Start program, please reach out to the team separately. We'll be putting the contact information for the team during the Q&A session. So just a couple of housekeeping items to note. For this webinar, we've turned your cameras off and your microphones have been muted, and these can be turned on by our conveners if needed. If we do turn your microphone on, please remember you will still need to unmute yourself before speaking. The chat function is not available for this webinar, but instead you'll see the Q&A function at the top of your screen. And you can use this function to ask questions throughout the webinar, which can be answered during the Q&A session after the presentation. Thanks to those of you who submitted questions during the registration process. Some of your questions have been addressed as part of the presentation, while some will be answered during the Q&A session today. And of course, you can always raise your virtual hand if you're unable to use the Q&A function. So that with housekeeping done, I'd just like to welcome Zoe Honeysett, the Director of Apprentices and Trainees Program, to begin the presentation. Thanks, Zoe.
Thanks, Louise. I'd like to start just by echoing Louise's welcome. Thank you for your ongoing support of the Fresh Start program and your interest in round 3. We're really excited that we're about to launch round 3, about to open for applications after a successful first 2 rounds. Get this to go to the next slide. There we go. Back. There we go. Okay. So in today's session, we're going to be covering firstly an overview of the Fresh Start grant program. We know that many of you joining us today will have already been through at least 1, maybe 2 rounds of this. So we won't spend too much time on the background to the grant program, but for anyone that is new to Fresh Start, we will just give a high-level overview of the program. We'll also run through in detail the application process for round 3, including updates to the grant guidelines and the application form since round 2. We'll run through the key dates, including application open, close, notification, and give an update as well of round 1 and 2, where we're at with those. We'll then go through our stakeholder toolkit that we've developed to support recruitment and answer any pre-submitted questions, plus give you the opportunity to ask any questions in our live Q&A. So in terms of a program overview, our program is based on or underpinned by these 4 objectives. So what we're really trying to achieve is to build capacity in councils and a stronger local government sector. We want to increase the directly employed local government workforce. We want to create positive social outcomes by generating those local education and employment opportunities. And that's particularly focused on youth so that young people can stay in their local area. And we want to increase employment and education opportunities for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. In terms of the grant program, we have funding to support councils to directly employ an additional 1,300 apprentices, trainees and cadets over 6 years up until the 30th of June 2030. And this program is one of the key initiative to deliver the New South Wales Government's commitment to make apprentices and trainees 15% of local government workforces. So far, through rounds 1 and 2, we have approved 1,010 positions out of the 1,300. That was made up of 642 positions in round 1 and 368 in round 2. And as you can see in the chart on the left there, that has been a split of apprentice positions, trainee positions and cadet positions, but with the highest proportion in the dark grey there of trainees. So that's in each round, and overall the highest proportion has been in trainees. And that's one of the reasons why we're focusing exclusively on apprentices for round 3, to get that balance back in. One of our key objectives of the program has been to make sure we're delivering delivering new positions in apprenticeships as well as traineeships and cadetships. And we've got an overall target of 700 apprentices through the program, and that's why we're focusing only on apprentices for round 3. If you look at the chart on the left there, it shows the location of those positions approved, and what we're really proud of is the proportion that we're delivering in rural and regional councils. So we're really creating those local opportunities for people right across New South Wales. This slide now shows our round 1 recruitment information. So of those 642 positions approved in round 1, these are the positions that have been recruited. So we have had most of them successfully recruited. Some of those have been rolled over to commence employment from round 2, so from the 1st of July, and a very small number have been returned to the funding pool for redistribution. Only 14 positions have been returned, which is great to see. We also have the information there about position type. So of those positions that have been successfully recruited, 163 of those were apprentices, 245 of those were trainees, and 73 were cadets. We've got a really even split of blue versus white collar positions recruited, and a fairly even split of gender. We also have 12% of our recruits so far identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, which we're really proud of that statistic too. So great job, councils. We're really looking, we're really impressed with this data so far, and looking forward to it to continue. Just to give you a bit of a flavour of the apprentice positions, given that this is an apprentice only round that we're coming into. So these were the round 2 recommended positions, so the most recent round of approved positions. I think what I like about this slide is that it shows how councils are engaging in the program. So at the very far left there, you can see some of those really big skills gaps that we're hearing from councils, that the program is really solving those challenges. So civil construction, parks and gardens, mechanics, those kinds of things, where we know there are skills gaps and skills shortages that councils are telling us about. The program is solving those problems. But if you look at the far right, it's also solving really niche skills gaps for councils, things like sign writers, metal fabricators, chef. Other councils are using the program to solve those really individual skills challenges, and they're both great ways to upskill workforces through the Fresh Start program. And with that, I will hand over to Brendan, who will go through what everyone's here to find out all about round 3. Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you, Zoe. And yeah, hi everyone. I'll echo the sentiments of Louise and Zoe at the start of this webinar, but equally I'm very excited right now because I'm at the Dome at Sydney Olympic Park attending the Western Sydney Careers Expo over the next 3 days, where some 10 to 15,000 year 10, 11, 12 students are coming to look at what careers that they may be interested in when they finish school. And the Office Local Government and the Fresh Start program team are exhibiting here over the next 3 days. And I can just tell you from this morning, the amount of conversations I've had with young people and school teachers about careers in council is very exciting. So if you're in the Sydney metropolitan area, come on down. But we will also be visiting some of the regional expos in the sort of latter stages of this year. But over to key dates. So round 3 key dates, we are here on the left-hand side with our information webinars, and round 3 applications will open from the 30th of June. and those applications will close on the 25th of July. You might remember just recently, and it was part of our feedback as well, that we went to councils asking around what are some of the dates or the time periods that you'd like for this application process, considering we've got the school holidays as well. So we've stretched this one out over a 4-week period. So yes, applications will close from 25 July, and we will notify councils from the 25th of August the outcomes of your application. As part of our lessons learnt from the previous rounds, and also with the consultations that we've been having with council, we heard really loud and clear around the peak period of recruitment for school leavers. And so we're really excited that there's this 4-month window for recruiting, whether it be year 10 or year 11 or year 12 students. And so there's a great window there to engage with community, engage with local schools, engage with registered training organisations to discuss, the career that you're looking at for any new recruits that come into council. As part of round 3, your approved roles, they can start from 1 January in 2026, and they need to be employed by the 28th of February, and that's including round 2 positions and anyone that has rolled over. There is no rollover after round 3. 353 or up to 353 positions will be available in round 3 for apprentices only. But can I just remind councils as well, and it's been part of my conversation this morning at the expo, school-based apprentices, trainees, SBATs are also eligible under this program. And there's a good way of incorporating SBATs into council. So please reach out to the team if you'd like to know more, or if you need any introductions into the education system around school-based apprentices and trainees. The next stage I'll go into is the program guidelines. They have been adjusted just slightly to cater for round 3. So I'm just going to go through a few little changes that will be in the program guidelines. And when you are going into the program or your application, please read through the program guidelines firstly when you're going through the Smarty Grants application process. So the updated grant guidelines for round 3 just provides a little bit clearer advice, obviously, around the dates for this grant round, the number and type of positions that will be funded. That will be an apprentice-only round, so no trainees or cadet positions. We've updated the wages table for the new financial year because there is an increment starting there from the 1st of July. We've also improved the guidance around what is funded and unfunded within the award, and that's in line with the funding agreements that are being issued to councils. We've also updated information regarding the rollover of positions to subsequent rounds. And as I just mentioned before, there is no rollover from round 3. And the last piece is that we've put an update in around the end of year financial reporting, which that is also in line with the funding agreements that councils are receiving, or a lot of councils are receiving at the moment. So that's just a little bit of an update. Not massive changes in the guidelines, but yeah, we've just shored up a few areas in there just to make it a little bit clearer. Anyone that was on the round 2 webinars, and also anyone that provided feedback in the Smarty Grants application area. The program team at the conclusion of round 2, we sat down and we went through all the feedback from every single application, and plus any feedback that we'd received through emails from councils, etc. So we took into consideration ways that we can make Smarty Grants more efficient for the user, and improve the data that sits inside that. So we've tried to just simplify it a little bit, but there are some things in Smarty Grants that we have to have that we can't get around. So the first one of the first changes we made was just to simplify the position title. And in this case, we've decided to go down the occupation standard classifications codes, which everyone may remember them, the old ANSCO codes. So when you go in there, you'll be able to select the position. And as you can see, the example there, automotive electrician, mechanic, diesel mechanic. And we know they're apprentices, but we just wanted to simplify the name. As it also shows there, if it's not in the list, look, please reach out to the team or use the other function that you can see on the screen there. Another piece of feedback that we had from councils was to simplify the number of positions being applied for, rather than putting in 3 separate applications for an apprentice carpenter, for argument's sake. So for here, we're just asking, all right, if you want an apprentice carpenter and you want 3 of them, you just put 3 in, but you just need to do the 1 application for those carpentry roles. Again, in the last round, we had the information in there about the drop downs for selecting your registered training organisation, be that TAFE or a private provider, but we've also included TAFE Digital in there because we know that there are many opportunities in the training sector through TAFE Digital, so that has been included into this section as well. One of the critical things leading into obviously round 3 is your liaising with the registered training organisation to make sure that the course is available. So please continue to do that, and also use that time to consult with the RTO around, the electives that may be in the course. And I was having a discussion with the council just recently around, arborists, and generally speaking, arborists are traineeships. But you can look at the Parks and Gardens, which is an apprenticeship qualification. So it just gives you time to liaise with the RTO around the massaging of electives, for argument's sake, if you need to customise a training package applicable to the role that you will have in council. Another piece of feedback in the area where we ask for the justification around the roles, and this time around in round 3, we will be particularly focusing on the rationale around the individual position. So why is it that council really wants this position to be funded or to be awarded? And second to that, we've capped the word limit to make sure that you don't have to write essay upon essay. But we have actually capped the amount of words that you can put in there, just to make it a little bit more efficient for councils when completing the application process. As Zoe spoke to before around some of the outcomes so far of the program around specific roles, we are aware that councils might like to go down an identified path, be that Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander or called background or disabilities. So we're very mindful of councils' need to apply for an exemption. So we've put this information in here to guide you, but please reach out to the team. We will be updating the council portal and the Fresh Start newsletter to give you more information around the process around applying for an exemption. But if you are going to nominate an Aboriginal identified role or a called role or disability role, please tick the box, yes or not applicable. And that way we know that you are focusing on a specific area. And just a little addition at the end of it, basically for us is you can just total up the amount of positions that you'll be applying for. That's just an added button in the Smarty Grants application portal that wasn't there previously. A very important area that, again, will be a focus for the reviewing in the assessment panel in this round will be what is council doing around inclusion, diversity and social outcomes. And we're very well aware that council has some amazing policies and we'd really like to just see that addressed a little bit deeper, especially if you are going down an exemption path with an identified role, but to make it very position specific, not so much about the council side and their policy, but down to position level. This came up in round 2 and we did have some feedback around this. So I just wanted to reiterate this point here. This is a part in Smarty Greens that we, let's say, cannot avoid. We need to have this in there. We did field questions from many councils saying, oh, how many dollars do we put in there? I just want to make it very clear here, just please input $0. You don't need to put an amount in it on how much funding you're looking for this particular position. It is a requirement of Smarty Grants. So just please put in 0 in this amount, and Smarty Grants does tell you to do that. All right, just recapping the key dates. Again, very excited. Opens up on Monday, 30th of June for 4 weeks. And those applications will close on the 25th of July. And we will notify councils from the 25th of August of your provisionally approved positions. Once you receive your notification of provisional approval, go forth and start recruitment. Very excited around that process leading into the back end of the year. And any new recruits under round 3 can commence from the 1st of January 2026, and that's when the funding will also obviously commence from that period. But all recruits will need to start by the 28th of February. As discussed, I think in round 1 and round 2, the Office of Local Government developed a stakeholder toolkit. It's a really good toolkit to use for any comms amongst your local community, email banners, etc. If you're doing general marketing in and around town, please utilise the stakeholder toolkit. There's some great photos in there, banners, assets for council to use. And with round 3, we are going to be developing further marketing materials with a particular focus on Aboriginal or called background recruits. If any councils, have recruited, Aboriginal participants, disabilities or called backgrounds over rounds 1 or 2, please reach out to us. With their permission, we could use them in our marketing campaigns. I know some of the recruits previously have been very excited about participating in it. So, if you want to get them out in the limelight and part of the Fresh Start program, please reach out to the Fresh Start team. This is just the information about the toolkit which everyone has received, and it is up on the council portal. Please check it out. And furthermore, there is information in there about how you can take expressions of interest from particular individuals about roles that are available in council. And I know the team, the Fresh Start team, we are working at ways to better improve the service to councils from expressions of interest that we receive also. Just the next part is just existing support for Aboriginal recruits. And I just want to talk to that a little bit because there is an amazing array of services and support out there. Firstly, there's the Barangira Culturally Appropriate Mentoring Program. So if you've got Aboriginal participants with inside council that are apprentices or trainees, the Barangira program is an amazing program to support these youngsters in their role. There's also the Elsa Dixon Aboriginal Employment Grant, which I understand is about to be released for financial year 25-26, which is a great support network again. And there is some funding out there available for councils as well under the Elsa Dixon program. Your local Apprenticeship Connect Australia provider, they provide amazing support services and they are also contracted to deliver mentoring services as well. So please reach out to your Apprenticeship Connect provider and they'll be able to provide further information about that. I've got to get a plug in about our workforce development, but it's not going to be too much. I just want to emphasise, I guess, the supervisor workshops that are currently out there being delivered to councils. These supervisor workshops to equip supervisors, managers with the skills to support mentors, to support apprentices, trainees and cadets. A big focus of the program is the retention of apprentices and trainees and cadets, and the skills supervisors and managers will be receiving through this will go a long way to supporting and improving the retention of apprentices and trainees. We're focused on delivering 20 workshops between now and June, and well, not end of June now. Sorry, there's a bit of a typo there. It should be 2026, but we've already held some workshops out in Dubbo, and that's where you can see the picture of the Dubbo team there. We've just had a workshop up in Bellingen, if I remember correctly, up on the mid-north coast, and we've got a workshop coming up in Sydney and further workshops in September and December. So if you're interested, please get onto the OLG website, book in for these workshops. We've had some really great feedback about what participants have achieved in the supervisor workshop. So reach out to Peter. I'm sure everyone's got Peter's details, but they are in the slide pack here, especially for regional and rural councils, to arrange a workshop for your council. That is it for me. I'm going to hand back over to Louise.
Thank you very much, Brendan, and thanks for providing all that information. We've got some questions here that we did ask people if they wanted to ask some questions when they registered, and we've got a couple here we will start the Q&A with. However, we have some questions in the panel, and if anyone else has questions relating to round 3, please pop them in the Q&A section now. The first question is from Julie at Rouse County Council, and Julie has asked about reasonable timeframes for RTOs to provide training plans. So what is considered a reasonable timeframe? There's been some to and fro about what that is, and how would you suggest council can influence a quicker turnaround time, Brendan?
Yeah, training plans developed between the RTO and the employer generally should be within 6 weeks of the training contract being approved. If you're not getting a training plan within the right time frame, you can either reach out to us or secondly, reach out to Training Services. Training Services are the regulator of the vet sector in New South Wales, and it's Training Services that approve all apprenticeships and traineeships and regulate the sector as well. Happy for you to reach out to us, but please also reach out to your regional Training Services office.
Great, thanks, Brendan. Now, Kayla from Central Coast Council has asked about T4 and T5 pay rates for adult apprentices, so over 21. As they've been provided with some different advice from LG New South Wales and OLG, are you able to provide definitive information about this, Brendan?
Yeah. Look, under the local government award and also looking at federal minimum awards, for a mature age apprentice or trainee, you need to be 21 years or 21 years of age or over, and for that, just from an age point of view, it's a T5 rate under the scale.
Right, thank you. So Vi from Inner West has asked, and you did mention the school-based apprentices and trainees, and she has asked if the focus is on apprenticeships in round 3, can it be applied for the school-based apprentices? And if that process has been determined, how does the funding apply?
All right. Well, firstly, I'll just talk to the school-based side of it because I have heard of some great things being done out there, and I might just let Robin talk to the funding side of it. But firstly, school bases, as I mentioned, are a great addition to any workforce. And what I've seen out there are examples where council might have an apprentice who goes to TAFE 1 day a week also, and on that 1 day a week where their apprentice isn't at work, it's the day that the school-based apprentice comes in to do their work placement, and so that way you get 5 days of continuous presence from an apprentice. So it's always good to engage with school bases. From a funding perspective, it's no different to an apprentice or a trainee. If a school base comes in 1 or 2 days a week, we will fund that accordingly to the 1 or 2 days a week.
Great, thank you. Robin, do you have anything to say about the funding?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks, Louise.
Perhaps Inner West Council can reach out to the team if they'd like further information about that. I'll just move to the Q&A panel questions now. Katie has asked, if a recruit works outside their span of working hours and this incurs either overtime, weekend penalties or shift penalties, will this be covered by the funding? And I'm sorry, I can see Robin has actually put some information in there. So he's responded the grant funding is for the ordinary hours, and should those ordinary hours attract any loading, that would also be covered by the grant funding, and to reach out. So sorry, Robin, I didn't see after I saw that after I saw the question.
That's okay.
Katie's also asked, can recruits commence in a part-time capacity and then move to full-time? Will this change in hours, the increase in hours, be funded?
Thanks for the question, Katie. So this is a apprentice only round. So the if it's full-time or part-time, that will need to be reflected in the training, the establishment letter. As to flexing the hours, if you're looking at this sort of arrangement for an apprentice, please reach out to us to discuss.
Great, thank you. So Brendan, just continuing on with the pay rates, there is a question from Zoe that says that she's been told via email that their apprentice, who is 21, that the pay rate is T4 via email from OLG yesterday. So she's concerned about mixed messaging. Is this something perhaps you could follow up and provide some information about?
Yeah, more than happy to,
Okay.
Louise. Happy to clarify anything. Yeah, without a doubt. Just reach out to the team or reach out to Robin or I.
Fabulous, and we will certainly we are taking a record of all the Q&As from this webinar, so we will have your contact details, Zoe. Fiona has just put a question here. The supervisor workshop indicates 2 days face-to-face and 2 days on half days online. The supervisor workshops that Fiona's been notified about are 4.5 hours and conducted by training services.
I can answer that one. No, thank you for the question. 2 completely different workshops. So the training services workshop is purely sort of focused around training plans and the regulatory side and what the employer responsibilities are around the vet sector, but in particular around that apprenticeship or traineeship. And yes, they are like a half-day workshop. Our supervisor workshops cover that off, but go a lot more deeper into supervising and mentoring recruits, and so much so that the content that our supervisor workshops that are being delivered are actually written to the TAE, the Training and Assessment qualification. So we are delivering, let's call it accredited, but you won't get a statement of attainment out of that. So it is very different to what training services deliver, which is more regulatory focused.
Right, thank you.
The other thing that I'd just add to that is the provider of our supervisor workshops had a session with our workforce development working group comprised of councils before the content was confirmed. And so our workshops have been informed with council input to make sure that the content is specifically relevant for supervisors in councils.
Great, thank you, Zoe. Katie's just asked, can we confirm that we are not able to apply for any cadets or trainees at all in this round 3? She's just wanted to clarify that the application will not actually allow it.
Yes, no trainees or cadets in this round.
Okay.
It's apprentice only. Yep.
So there won't be anything in the application that will enable someone to apply for a traineeship or cadet. It will be for apprentices only.
That's correct. Yeah.
Great. Okay, just moving through the questions here, and thank you. Is it still anticipated there'll be a fourth round?
At this stage, to be confirmed. Obviously, we've got to go through round 3 and see where we land after the round 2 rollovers and the round 2 recruitment, which kicks on from the 1st of July. So it is to be confirmed at this stage.
Okay. Fiona has asked, will the participants of this webinar receive a copy of the presentation? So I can actually answer that one. The webinar will be posted online to the council portal with all the other webinars, Fiona. So they'll be easily accessed, and that will be done in the next few days. We'd get those up as soon as we can. Katie has asked, can we extend our recruit beyond the initial contract? For example, if engaged for 18 months initially, can we then extend up to 2 years and this be accepted and funded?
Yep. So the grant funding is for the nominal term of one qualification. If council decides to continue with the employment for the recruit, that is at their discretion and cost. But grant funding will end at the end of the nominal term.
Right. Thank you, Robin. Vinny has asked if there's any particular documents or evidence that councils can submit to strengthen their application.
Good question. Like in the previous rounds, we are asking council to upload their workforce management strategy. So we ask that council state the page numbers that are relevant. That's helpful in demonstrating the application and alignment with that strategy. And as Brendan stated, it's helpful if the application uses specifics rather than generalizations.
Okay, that is very good advice. Maria has asked, it's really a comment that you may like to respond to, and she's interested in speaking to councillors who have successfully engaged cadet engineers. So is there any way we can connect people? Are we able to do that with privacy and things, Brendan?
Look, I'll take that one on notice. I mean, I don't, pull me up here, Zoe, if I'm wrong, but I think a fellow council reaching out to a fellow council that may have some cadet engineers and I'll need some advice. I couldn't see any reason why we couldn't say, give, Mary a call. They've got 3 engineers for argument's sake, so I don't see an issue with that. But please reach out to the team through the Fresh Start email address.
Yeah, I agree. And our engagement managers may be able to help with that too. We've got a lot of contacts with our council networks. So, we'd be more than happy to assist with that if needed as well. Okay, let's see. We've got one from Candice. Is there information about the training services workshops? We have received information about the Foresight supervisor workshops, but not the training services workshops that you spoke to earlier, Brendan.
Yeah, sure. Just email the Fresh Start team and we can send you the link or the contact details for your local training services regional office and you'll be able to make direct contact.
And we have previously included that in our program update newsletter, and we can do so again in the next one, so everyone's got that front of mind as well.
Great, and I think we're just putting the contact details. The Fresh Start email address is being posted into the Q&A. It should be in there shortly. Okay, so there doesn't appear to be any further questions at the moment. I think we are going to post a short survey in the Q&A as well. It's just 4 quick questions about the webinar, whether you enjoyed it, any feedback. So if you have a couple of moments, please do that. That's in the Q&A now, but I don't think we have any further questions there, so it'd be lovely to give people back some time in their busy days. Brendan or Zoe, did you want to add anything else before I wrap up the webinar?
No, nothing further.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you for answering all the questions too. I know that's really really helpful. Okay, I'm just being informed that we have one more. Just to clarify from Tanya, are school-based apprenticeships funded for the full term or only the 2 years at school?
Again, yeah, to be the nominal term because it is a school base, so the nominal term within that school period.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you. Okay, so we might leave it there. So thank you all so much for attending today. Thank you, Zoe, Brendan and Robin, for today's informative and important presentations and providing councils with the opportunity to comment and ask questions. It is very much appreciated. As I mentioned before, a recording of this webinar will be uploaded to the OLG website in the council portal in the coming days. You will need a profile to enter the portal, which requires a newsouthwales.gov.au email address, but it is quite quick to do. And having said all that, I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of your really busy schedules to join us today. This now concludes the Fresh Start webinar today. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Bye.